Greetings and welcome to the Reparenting Daily podcast. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into reparenting, exploring all of the tools and resources that you'll need to help you along your journey. This podcast is divided into 3 sections. The first is a daily reading. The second is a discussion of the reading, followed by suggested journal prompts. And the last section is a peaceful meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad you've joined us today on this journey of self-expansion and growth. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe this podcast wherever you're listening, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Your help here really makes a huge difference in allowing us to spread the word and build a more supportive community as we continue with our self-reparenting. Now, before we get started, I have some quick updates for you. First, I'd like to introduce our Patreon community. Here, for a small monthly fee, you can join us for 3 weekly meetings for additional support with your reparenting journey. On Sundays, we have a meditation group. On Tuesdays, we have a book club discussion. And on Thursdays, we have open topic conversations. You can find out more details about this if you go to the Reparenting Daily website and check out on the community tab. In addition to that, we also have a WhatsApp group to foster more daily connection and support for whenever you need it. And this is a community of fellow travelers from around the world who will always be there when help is needed. It's just one of the many ways that we're building our network of resources that are really going to help support your reparenting journey. For the next update, I'm very excited to announce that I've just released some first books. The first is probably the most important, and it's called the Reparenting Daily Journal. Now, this journal is a daily guide for 365 days of the year. We'll be starting in 2025, and basically each month corresponds to a theme in reparenting, and each week of each month corresponds to a sub-theme of the monthly theme. Now, from the beginning of the year, 2025, each daily episode will correspond with the themes in the daily workbooks. And so you can use this as a guide to work through your reparenting journey to stay focused, ensuring that you cover all of the most critical areas within a year's time. And again, this will be aligning up with the podcast, so you can use both of these to make a more engaging and interactive experience. This is ensuring that you really book progress on your reparenting journey. The next set of books I've written is called Fairy Tales for Reparenting. This is a collection of 3 books that contain short stories or fairy tales inspired from Jungian analysis, mythology, philosophy, and psychology that really is targeted to helping you connect to your inner child. And so these stories are very short. They're not very long. They're written in a very simple manner so that it's not too taxing on you, so you can more easily connect with the joy and fun of your inner child. More interestingly, however, is that at the end of each story, there's an analysis section that really analyzes the main themes and concepts within each story to provide encouragement and inspiration. Additionally, you will find corresponding journal prompts after each story and each analysis section to help you reflect deeper on how the themes of each fairy tale can be reflected and correspond to your own personal journey as you work towards self-expansion. You can find all of these books now available on Amazon, so go ahead and give us a look and give us some support. And as I've mentioned before, this entire process of reparenting and self-expansion is really about growth, iterative change, and continuous improvement. Much like the process of nurturing the bonsai tree, our reparenting journey requires our consistency and care. So many thanks for being here and for supporting this project, and also to committing on your journey of self-expansion. Now, without further ado, let's dive into today's practice. Today's reading is from Very Well Mind. This article is called 5 Self-Compassion Exercises to Practice Daily. Just as a reminder, we're in February, the last week of February, I remind you. The theme for this month has been self-compassion and self-kindness. We're in week 4, which is February 22nd until the 28th. And the theme for this last week in February is developing a daily self-compassion practice. 5 self-compassion exercises to practice daily. Channel your inner cheerleader by Sanjay Gupta. Just a reminder, I will only read a portion of the article. And you can find a link in the show notes to read the entire article. I encourage you to check it out. It's a really good article. We all go through difficult times, make mistakes, or say the wrong thing sometimes. In these situations, our inner critic takes over, scolding us and leaving us feeling angry, upset, disappointed, embarrassed, or ashamed of ourselves. But what if there's a way to navigate these difficulties with kindness and understanding instead? That's where self-compassion comes in. Self-compassion involves learning how to be kind, gentle, and patient towards ourselves when things in our lives get tricky, challenging, messy, sad, awful, or unbearable. It's learning how to become our own best friend, says Stephanie Strauss, a yoga, meditation, and mindfulness expert. In this article, we explore the benefits of being compassionate towards yourself as well as 5 self-compassion exercises to help you get started. By taking a few minutes each day to connect with yourself with kindness, you'll be able to replace negative self-talk with self-compassion. The benefits of practicing self-compassion. Practicing self-compassion is important because it's legitimately good for us, says Strauss. Research shows us that it can help improve our mental health and well-being in several important ways. 1, it promotes acceptance. Self-compassion teaches us to be kinder and less judgmental towards ourselves. We learn to accept ourselves the way we are. 2, enhancing emotional regulation. Self-compassion helps us manage our emotions more effectively. Instead of suppressing or denying difficult feelings, we learn to acknowledge and validate them with kindness, leading to greater emotional stability. And 3, encourages self-care. When we're compassionate towards ourselves, we're more likely to take care of our physical and emotional needs. When things get tough, we stop for a moment and consider how we can take care of our own well-being rather than ignoring our needs. 4, reducing stress. Being compassionate towards ourselves promotes self-care that can help us draw healthy boundaries to protect ourselves. This can help lower our stress levels. 6, or 5, improve mental health. Greater self-compassion is linked to lower levels of depression, anxiety, and better mental health. 6, improves physical health. Self-compassion has been shown to boost physical health by way of reducing stress. 7, increased happiness. Self-compassion is associated with greater happiness, optimism, as well as life satisfaction. And 7, fosters healthier relationships. Being kinder to ourselves. By being kinder to ourselves, we're more likely to extend the same kindness to others, fostering strong relationships. With self-compassion, you become your own best friend, learn how to have your own back in any crisis or situation, and realize that you don't need to look for someone else's answers. You don't need to look to someone else for the answers. You feel whole and complete exactly as you are, and you have the wisdom and discernment to know exactly what you need and when you need it. 5 self-compassion exercises to get you started. These are some self-compassion exercises that can help get you started. I'll just read the first one, and then I encourage you to look at the show notes for the remainder. Self-compassion exercise number 1. How would you treat a friend? This exercise is based on the premise that we're able to offer our friends and loved ones more kindness and understanding that we show ourselves. The idea is to shift the perspective and to treat ourselves with the same compassion we would give a friend in a similar situation. Here's how you can do this exercise. Number 1, identify a challenging situation. Reflect on a time when you faced something challenging, made a mistake, or had a difficult conversation. Number 2, notice your reaction. Take note of your reaction to the situation. Are you blaming yourself, hating yourself for it, feeling embarrassed, and wishing the floor would swallow you up? Number 3, imagine it from the perspective of a friend. Now, imagine that a close friend or loved one is facing the same situation as you identified. Picture how you would respond to them if they were in the same situation. Consider the words of encouragement, support, and comfort you would offer to lift their spirits. 4. Apply the same compassion to yourself. Once you have a clear idea of how you would treat a friend, turn that compassion inwards and apply it to yourself. Speak to yourself with the same level of kindness, empathy, and encouragement that you would extend to a friend. Number 5. Reflect on the difference. Take a moment to reflect on the difference of your reaction towards yourself and your friend. Consider how each one made you feel. Number 6. Repeat the affirmations. Every time you think of that situation, repeat the self-compassion affirmations that soothe you. For example, you could say, I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough. Or, it's okay to make mistakes, I'm only human. Someone once said to me, would you ever talk to a friend the way you talk to yourself? That hit me hard because a friend would never have put up with any of the horrible things I used to think and say to myself. Thank you. And that's the reading for today. Welcome back. This reading deeply connects to reparenting, as well as the week's theme of developing a self-compassion practice, as it highlights the importance of treating ourselves with the same kindness and patience we would offer a friend. Many people who need reparenting internalize a harsh inner critic due to a childhood environment where love and validation were conditional. This critical voice made mistakes feel unbearable and lead to patterns of self-punishment rather than growth. Self-compassion, as outlined in the reading, is the antidote to all this, allowing us to shift from self-judgment to self-support. By learning to comfort ourselves, acknowledge our struggle without shame, and respond with understanding, we replace the harsh internalized parenting of the past with a nurturing, loving presence. This shift is essential for our emotional healing, helping us become our own safe space rather than seeking validation externally. Developing self-compassion is critical for self-expansion because it provides the emotional resilience needed to take risks, grow, and fully embrace life. When we approach ourselves with acceptance rather than criticism, we become less afraid of failure and more open to learning. The reading highlights that self-compassion enhances emotional regulation, reduces stress, as well as increases happiness, all of which are foundational for personal growth. If we are consistently battling ourselves, we are draining our energy and limit our ability to expand into new experiences. By practicing self-compassion, we free ourselves from the cycle of self-doubt and hesitation, allowing us to move forward with confidence. This is the key to reparenting. Shifting from fear-based self-talk to encouragement, making it easier to explore our potential without fear of rejection or failure. As we move forward to the journal prompts today, number 1, what is one situation where I've been harsh on myself recently? How would I respond if a friend were in the same situation? Number 2, how did my caregivers react to my mistakes or struggles as a child? How does this influence how I treat myself today? And number 3, what affirmations or words of encouragement can I practice to build a more compassionate inner voice? Thanks for being here. That's it today. As always, take care of yourself and do be well. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please find a place where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for this 10-minute silent meditation. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you comfortable today. Just take some time to listen to yourself. Next, be sure that you are taking some time to be with your breath to connect with your body. Don't be disturbed or overwhelmed by your thoughts. Simply allow them to pass. Just observe them. Do not engage with your thoughts. Only be mindful of them passing as if they are drifting down a river. Use this time to connect with yourself. Whatever time of day you are listening to this, Namaste.